At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the reffing or, you guys watched the game and I had my opinion and I'll leave it at that. This year's team, it's a reoccurring theme. We struggled to guard 3-point shots and we struggled to contain the dribble drive. We have guys stuck in the middle of no man's land, just individual defensively. We have a lot of guys that have to improve as individual defenders for sure. Chris gives up a lot of 3-point shots and, I think JD and Devo can be better guarding that. And the DC's struggling defending the 3 and getting blown by and Stanley, really struggled tonight guarding out of bounds plays. So a lot of things we have to clean up over the next week.
Yeah, Coach, JD over the last 8 games is shooting about 20% beyond the arc and still averaging about 7 attempts a game. Do you have to talk to him about shot selection, or do you think he's going to is he capable of shooting himself out of it, or what do you think about that?
Well, he thinks he's capable of shooting himself out of it, and I can promise you, Hutch, that it has been addressed. So now it's up, if it's been addressed and talked about and it continues to happen, roles might have to change and I might have to look at, another lineup or something, because it has been addressed over and over and over. So, I think we're beyond the point of hoping that it gets, works itself out by shooting out of it.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, plenty to discuss today. That was, of course, Eric Musselman on the post game after the blowout loss. Holy crap! I left my phone volume up. I apologize for that. Yeah, obviously, not happy, not too thrilled. Shout out to PT and Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. Sponsors, everyone. You guys here in live chat, and those of you watching after the fact. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Yo! Welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. I am Ty Hudson. Hope you guys had a great weekend. A little bit of good, a little bit of bad over the weekend. Obviously, you got a big-time transfer in Mr. Well, you see him right here. Look at that guy. Look at this dude. Look at him. Look at this guy. Jackson, he is a hog, transferring in from LSU. That's now 2 transfers. It's, yeah. How about that? So far, they're not done. They're not done in the transfer portal. Wednesday, of course, signing period, the 15th. That will go from the 15th until the 17th. I thought they would go longer. For some reason, I had it in my mind that they were going from the 15th or maybe earlier. They would start and give them an entire week. Give them the 13th through the 17th. Not just 3 days, but that's what they got. So we're going to get updated on that. Samuel Mbake, we got some – look, I mean, there's not a lot of movement there, but there's a little bit, right? Of course, we're going to talk about Welch. We're going to get into that. Are things shifting kind of back and forth? We are going to talk basketball. There's just so much to talk about. Once again, it's loaded. It's loaded. This time of year, we'll miss things. We will. I'll have someone later like, oh, Ty, whatever, you missed it. Like, dude, I have an hour. Sometimes the way things kind of flow, you just get going on one thing, and it turns into from what should have been a 2-minute conversation into a 15-minute conversation. It happens, and then we go back to Wednesday's show, and we try to get caught up then, and then Friday's show. We still haven't even done the Penn State breakdown yet in the Outback Bowl. We haven't done that because there's been so much other stuff happening. So, yeah. All right, let me read the comments section. Hope you guys, I hope you had a great weekend. I know that basketball, that blowout, I'm telling you, worst. I've watched every single game Musselman has coached, maybe outside of 2 games, maybe 3. When we were on our way to Florida during the NCAA tournament, I was watching everything on my phone. I think I missed, I think there's one game I missed the first 5-6 minutes. But I was able to get caught up, and of course we ran into dead zones, driving up from going through the state of Arkansas. A lot of dead zones with T-Mobile when you're coming from Little Rock, going up to going through the River Valley, and then obviously heading north to Fayetteville, Springdale. A lot of dead zones up and down, but mostly not bad. So I've caught quite a bit of Musselman basketball over the years. That has to be the worst. As the worst game they've played, period. The fact that they even got close at one point, coming down from 15 to make it into a 3-point game, that's saying something. I mean, do I think Oklahoma's all that in a bag of chippies? No, I don't. I mean, maybe they are. Maybe they, of course, that's the most hog thing ever for a team to get it figured out right before they play Arkansas. But up until that point, you had not really impressed me. But you could also say, and I had been saying the same thing now for the last couple of weeks about the Razorbacks. I didn't feel like they deserved to be top 15, top 20. And those of you who were like, Ty, you're underestimating, once again, blah, blah, blah. Look back to the body of work. The only games that kind of stood out to me that are like, okay, there was some positive despite there being negative, was the games they played in KC. And they had some moments, of course, the second half against UCA. But it's UCA, right? Cincinnati and Kansas State, I don't know how good those teams are. I think Cincinnati's capable of going on some runs. I really do. I think they're capable of going on some runs during this season and then maybe even postseason. I think Cincinnati's a tournament team. Maybe Oklahoma is. Clearly, they beat the living crap out of the Hogs. But again, I think that was also them. Look, this was Arkansas, man. This is a team. This is an Elite 8 team. You're about to play a talented coaching staff, a good head coach, someone who's as big of a personality as Musselman has been on social media. And, of course, they're an Elite 8 team from a year ago, and they're top 10, top 12. This was a big game for Oklahoma, their biggest game of the season up until that point. And, they definitely showed up. Shout out, of course, to our sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. They will do just about anything to your garage door. They will repair it or replace it. Anything that revolves around your door, they got your back. Those guys, they do good work, highly rated, good dudes, good guy. Travis Ford, he is a fan of the show, very first sponsor. Give him a call, give him a shout out. Maybe you need some work done. Their link is provided for you down below in the description box. Of course, State Apparel. State Apparel has a unique shirt just for you from State Pride. Funny, sassy, sarcastic, and pop culture. Our shirts are hand printed on premium material that will leave you looking and feeling great. our stores offer something for everyone. So, of course, go check out their link as well. Check out their website. Pretty cool. Pretty cool place. They got all sorts of stuff. All right. And again, like I said, you Patreon supporters, big time. Big time supporters coming through. Love it. Love it. All right, do me a favor. Like the stream. Share the content. That is so big. It's so huge for channels like this. When you share their content, it means the world. And, of course, like it. I don't even want to talk about the fact they got rid of the dislike button. I hate that probably more than you do. Even the people who got a kick out of giving me a thumbs down. I get asked quite a bit. Who is that you think that's disliking? I could name a number of people. There's several people who absolutely can't stand me. There's people still mad at me over some. I don't know. They get like this much stuff. I don't care who dislikes these streams. I don't care. We have an overwhelming amount of positivity here, thanks to you guys. Well, I mean, the like to dislike ratio is phenomenal. It's great. Not to mention we're creeping up on 700,000 total views on the channel. That's also huge. I couldn't be doing that without you guys. Landon Jackson was a 5 or 4-star, right? He was a 5-star for a little while, and then he dropped a little bit. He dropped down to a 4-star. I think there were some injuries and some issues he had to battle. So this is arguably, I'm getting some DMs here. Let me close these out. He's arguably, he was a huge target for Arkansas, and I don't mean that well. I mean literally. Yeah, sure. Why not? The guy, he's not exactly small. You're talking about someone who's 6'7", 6'6", 6'7", like 270, 275, big time edge rusher. Came down between Arkansas and LSU, of course, who ended up picking. Gabe Brooks has a really good write-up on him. If you haven't read it yet, he's the Midlands region recruiting analyst. He has him projected. I don't know how I feel about them doing this thing with these 17, 18-year-old kids where you're projecting them in a particular round. Man, there's a lot of hoops. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of hurdles they have to jump over to even get considered to be drafted to get to that point. But I also understand why they do it and what they mean when they do it, right? What they mean when they give them that kind of projection. It's like his ceiling, we feel like, could be in this area. I wish they would explain that more, and I'm sure you could find it on 247 somewhere why they do the projections and how they come to the conclusion that they do, and also, help people understand, like, wait, what do you mean? What does this mean exactly? And go into a little bit further detail. But here's what Gabe Brooks says. Again, he has him projected from the 4th to 7th round, so it would be a day 3 pick. They compare him to Carl Nassib, who's at who I think is he still at Tampa with the Bucks. Elite height, this is again from Gabe Brooks. Elite height, enormous frame with a ton of space to add bulk to already. Impressive build, but put together like a college hybrid edge. Has played variety of spots for a perennial Texas 4A D2 state title contender, including off-ball, linebacker, standing edge, and traditional also. Also, ample snaps at tight end. We've seen that before where a guy comes in and he gets moved around from tight end to D end, and he didn't stick it out for long at Arkansas. He ended up transferring, talking about a particular player, former 4-star out of the state of Arkansas. Also, ample snaps at tight end, especially as a senior, provided outstanding defensive production and the occasional big play splash on offense when healthy. Frame potential suggests possibility to fit multiple positions in varying schemes. Flashes quick get off with terrific closing speed in pursuit. Dangerous from the backside. Fairly fluid as a rusher. Bends pretty well relative to height, length, and runs the arc naturally. Arrives with a purpose and can provide a big hit. I'm not going to read the whole thing. What is important here, ACL as a sophomore and ankle as a senior, talking about some injuries. There's some durability concerns. He suffered 2 significant season-ending injuries, again, ACL and then his ankle. Long-term positional home is somewhat of a question mark given unique playstyle frame potential combo. Raw but naturally gifted. So get him in the flow, get him in the rhythm at one position. Obviously, I think he should play rush end here. There are some questions about tight end. As far as I know, there are no plans moving him to tight end. No plans, as far as I know. And I know they're thin there, but they're adding a couple of guys with this class. The move, Trey Knox, that move apparently has worked out pretty well. I'm curious what kind of leap we see from Trey Knox, and I hate to segue already into that, but since we're on the topic, I'm curious where they go with him, because now he's given some extended amount of time, which he's not had since moving to the tight end spot. I mean, you're getting what, 3.5 weeks or whatever it is to prepare, and you're going to get the opportunity to develop more. So that's why the bowl game is so huge. It doesn't matter if you finish 6-6 or 8-4. Yeah, 8 is 2 more than 6. It looks better on paper. The point is, I think for Arkansas, year 2 was just get those extra practices and another opportunity to get better, more opportunities to get better. And that's exactly what they're going to do. And I like what they're doing. I like the move. Of course, that was Trey Knox's idea to move to tight end. And some other guys probably going to get some opportunities, obviously, with Treylon Burks opting out for the bowl game. Yeah, this is a good thing. Now, will he be able to participate in practice? I'm not sure. Talking about Landon Jackson. I don't know. Maybe. I know that there are some recruits who sign early, I believe, will have an opportunity. And that is so big. That is so big time to get these kids here on campus and let them. I mean, think about it as a 17, 18-year-old kid. You were at home on Saturday mornings watching football, and now you have the opportunity to be around the guys. You get to be around the team that just went 8-4 that very easily could have gone maybe 9-10 wins this year. You're going to get to be around that. Think about the experiences that's given them the opportunity to actually prepare and to be a part of a team getting ready for a big game. And I think I don't know if this is the biggest game of the year or not. I would argue it's not. And now if it were a bigger and better bowl game, if it were playoffs, sure. Yeah, of course then. But I feel like this is just more so an opportunity for the Razorbacks to get better. But to get these incoming freshmen an opportunity to participate. And the same thing with Landon Jackson and with Hazelwood. They're going to get to be around it. They're going to get to kind of see and understand a little bit more in an active situation. I think that's just as important, if not more important, than getting them here for spring. It's like you're getting dropped right in the middle of it all. It's the cogs are already turning. Like, it's still, for the Razorbacks, it's still the season, right? So they get their opportunities here to get dropped right in the middle of it. So they will not be able to participate in the game, talking about those incoming freshmen that are going to sign and enroll early, and neither will the transfers. None of them will be eligible to play in the game. Do you wish it could be different? No, not really. I really don't, because that's a big deal to be able to, you talk about how that could affect teams. I like the idea that they have to set it out. I don't mind them getting to practice. I'm all about that. I don't know about playing. I'm not on that boat just yet. I'm not there. Absolute first, says Eagle. Finally catching the show live and at the beginning. What's up, David Lawrence? Hope you're doing well. I was spamming the refresh button on the page until it popped up. So Landon Jackson was a 5-star. We already talked about that. Yeah, he ended up being a 4-star. I hope Landon is healthy by August. Yeah, that's going to be key. I don't know how active he's going to be coming into this camp, or coming into bowl practice. What's up, Ty? How about Drayden Norwood just entered the portal? Shahid, you're killing my show, man. I was going to talk about that in a minute. I'm kidding. Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal, man. I don't know that he comes to Arkansas, but that's going to have an impact for A&M. They're not digging that. I mean, I get that he's one of their many 4-stars, but that was at a position, as far as I understand, for A&M. That's a spot they don't want to lose anybody at. Could he be heading back home? I've not heard that. Look, I think this just happened this morning. I think it was either this morning or last night. Right now, I've not heard anything. I'm not going to rule it out. Bigger question: is Sam Pittman worth $7 million per year? Let's not forget Bielema and coach from Texas. Thanks, Jimmy Sexton. Well, before I forget, so I'll just say this on the contract situation. First off, you are allowed as a fan to have an opinion on it. You are, okay? You are. I don't understand why people get so triggered when someone has an opposing point of view. I don't get it, man. Relax. It's okay to have a different opinion, and it's perfectly fine to have an opinion on the matter. After all, you are a fan. Your odds are you're watching them, you're buying their merchandise, you're going to the games, you're buying season tickets, or you're buying tickets, period. You should have a right, this is your team, to say something. Now, again, when you go far out there into bullshit land, then it's like, oh, okay, all right, okay. And then, you have this other side of things. It's like, oh, you can't have an opinion. Just shut up. Just shut up. Like, what are you talking about? I'm not allowed to say, I don't know if he's worth that or not. I don't know. Do I think he's worth $7 million? The way I see it is he's worth whatever Hunter Yurachek and the university is willing to pay him. The market's going to determine the value, and it's also based on his projections. It's based on where he's been and what he's accomplished. 11 wins in 2 seasons. When you consider last year you had a shortened season. Last year there's no doubt that team should have won at least, on paper they didn't win, but we know they won 4 games last year. It could have won 5. This year it's the same thing. You had 1 game that was just no chance, and that was against Georgia on the road. Yeah, I think whatever they're willing to pay him, they're not going to pay him $7 million. And if they do, they do. But I don't think they do. I think that's the initial, this is what Sexton and just Sexton and their party, this is what they think it's where they're going to start. And then they'll probably kind of climb down a little bit. But you are allowed to have a damn opinion. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I don't respond well to people like that. I just don't. I don't like people trying to shut down the conversation. No, the hell with you, buddy. Nope. I'm going to have an opinion whether you like it or not. Sam Pittman deserves it, says Tyler Broadway. Yeah, I don't know if he – again, I don't know what he ends up making. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to pay him that. I just doubt it. Again, I think that's a starting point. Would I be up in arms over it? No. What we haven't discussed are the buyout terms. Like, we haven't – that's the part, and what kind of what was it Hunter Yurachek that put in Sam Pittman's contract 6-6 into the buyout clause if you don't make it to a bowl game, it does something to the buyout. Again, I haven't read the contract in a while, and I forgot all the little bullet points. Something about not making a bowl game, not being responsible for the buyout or something. There's some things in there that we, from a legal standpoint, some of us are like, what the hell does any of this mean? And some of it's pretty obvious. So we need to get to that point. Let's talk about the buyout terms, right? Okay, what's that look like? But for people who tell you shouldn't have an opinion on this, that's bullshit. And tell them, no, that's bullshit. Ty over on PTN says I can have an opinion on it, so by God, I'm going to have an opinion on it. Again, if you go too far and he's a worthless piece of blah, 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 then yeah, you're stupid. Hey, Muss, if they're still struggling, then go play other players. Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Who's trolling? We got a troll. Oh, Sam will turn into Brett when he gets a raise. Brett quit recruiting. That's his opinion. You know what I do with people whose opinions I don't agree with? I have fun with them. I don't ban them. Now, Kelly, if you're in chat, please don't ban anyone with a differing point of view. But I don't agree. I don't think that happens with Sam Pittman. Hunter won't give him $7 million guarantee. Yeah, I don't see it either. I don't see that happening. I don't see him giving $7 million. Sarcasm. Hey, Ty, we can't have an opinion on it. That's right, Marcus, you can't. David Lawrence says 11-11 with the toughest schedule, back-to-back year, recruiting like a madman. Isn't that the truth? Developed guys that were 4-20 the previous 2 years. Pay the man. Again, I don't really have an opinion one way or another. If they're going to pay him $7 million, then you do it. I mean, we have to understand the market value of these coaches has gone up. When revenue builds, and I don't know what the overall revenue looks like for college football. I'm assuming it bounced back just fine. Obviously, they probably went down a little bit in 2020, and then it went back up in 2021. I don't know. Are we headed towards a big bust, a big coaching bubble bust where they stop paying these guys these ridiculous what seem like really ridiculous on the surface contracts. I don't know. Don't rule out him following his brother's footsteps to OU. Oh, talking about yeah. Talking about Norwood. Odom is already the third highest paid coordinator in the nation, and Briles is right behind him. How much do they need? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Is Landon's little brother also take a better look at Arkansas? So does he? Maybe. I think he's only like a ninth grader. Landon, his little brother, he's like in ninth grade. He's class of 2025. Nisha, what's up, Nisha? Hope you're doing well. How much is Sam Pittman and how much is the coordinators? Sam right now, what is Sam's contract? That might be worth Googling. It's like 3, is it 3.5, 3.25, something like that? Crystal Ball has Mbake to Arkansas, says Thomas Reynolds. Yeah, that's kind of old news, Thomas, but you're right. I think he has a couple right now. If you're going to pay Pittman, you better make sure you pay Briles. Yeah. Calm down, David. But Arkansas fans are going to also pay for these stupid raises with ticket prices and merch. Give me a break. $7 million is stupid. I mean, whatever they're willing to pay. Whatever they're willing to pay. So let's also talk about, there's more here. There's a lot that's going to happen this week. Wednesday morning, when these kids are bringing in, when they're sending in their LOIs, this is interesting. Sam Pittman is, I guess, told players he wants their LOIs, letter of intent. He wants them at 7:01 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Now, there's no way. You're not going to get all of them. I don't think all of them. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's 7:01 a.m. So, in other words, sign it Wednesday night and tell your school to fax it in at 7:01. These kids go to schools, I think, at different times. I mean, obviously you're talking about multiple states, different parts of those states. They all start and do things different. So I'm curious to see how that affects some players. Now, Centennia, we know he's committed, fully plan on him signing with the Razorbacks. Of course, he committed originally to A&M, and then he committed to Oregon. Fully expect him to sign. There's nothing. He just went on a visit this last weekend with Arkansas, and it sounds like it went, as planned. Like I don't think he's going to flip. I don't. There's no rumors anyone's chasing after him. So you're good there with Centennia from Fayetteville, and then so you still have some other guys that are going to announce. Welch, this is where, and this is the most questions I get. Obviously, is what's going on with Mbake. By the way, the M is silent. Apparently, it's not Mbake. It's just Bake. Samuel Bake. I've been calling him Mbake. I mean, it is what it is. But people on the radio are still calling him Mbake. You're still hearing people calling him Mbake, but apparently the M is silent, so it's just Bake. Just like we had to discover that Centegna, it's actually Centennia, not Centegna, and people are still calling him Centegna. By the way, coaches cannot comment on any of these players until they've signed. Just FYI, if you're wondering. So you will hear them Wednesday afternoon. I'm sure they'll do what they usually do. They'll have a big old board behind them, and they'll go down to each prospect. Oh, no. I think our pest control guy is here. Oh, no. Oh, man. Hang on a second. I've got him on our Vivint cam. Hey, what's up, man?
You Mr. Hudson?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of something right now. I'm sorry. If you just want to treat the outside of the house first, and then I could pause what I'm doing here for just a minute and let you in the house and let you treat the rest of the inside of the house.
Okay. Do you want me to do inside first then, really quick? Or do you want me to do inside?
I tell you what. Yeah, give me just a second. I'll be there. I'll be there in just a second. Give me just a minute, okay?
Okay, you're good.
All right, I'll be right back. Give me just a second. Shout out to Patreon supporters. I'll be right back. And for those of you who missed, I'll run this must thing real fast. Or actually, yeah, we'll run the must if you missed this.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk
There you
about the reffing or, you guys watched the game and I had my opinion and I'll leave it at that. This year's team, it's a reoccurring theme. We struggled to guard 3-point shots and we struggled to contain the dribble drive. We have guys stuck in the middle of no man's land. Just individual defensively. We have a lot of guys that have to improve as individual defenders for sure. Chris gives up a lot of 3-point shots and, I think JD and Devo can be better guarding that. And the DC's struggling defending the 3 and getting blown by and Stanley, really struggled tonight guarding out of bounds plays. So a lot of things we have to clean up over the next week.
Yeah, Coach, JD over the last 8 games is shooting about 20% beyond the arc and still averaging about 7 attempts a game. Do you have to talk to him about shot selection, or do you think he's going to is he capable of shooting himself out of it, or what do you think about that?
Well, he thinks he's capable of shooting himself out of it. And I can promise you, Hutch, that it has been addressed. So now it's up, if it's been addressed and talked about and it continues to happen, roles might have to change and I might have to look at, another lineup or something, because it has been addressed over and over and over. So, I think we're beyond the point of hoping that it gets, works itself out by shooting out of it.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
That's got to be a first. Okay. Oh man, it's hang on a second. Oh well, and now there's my phone. Okay, there we go. That is a first. I don't even remember what we were talking about. Someone help me out. What were we talking about? The joys of doing this from home. I'm telling you. Tell them you're naked. Cut to commercial. Ty, what do you think about using AJ Green like we use Burks? He has the speed in the hands. Yeah, it'd be nice to see them do something at wideout. It'd be nice. This would be the only opportunity that you've had since he's signed, because he wasn't here last spring. Talking about AJ Green to probably move him somewhere, get him on the field and utilize him a little more. Utilize him in a different position, because he's going to have a hard time. Hang on. He's going to have a hard time finding his way on the field at the running back spot, especially with Traylon Smith, Dominic Johnson, and Rocket Sanders. So, all right. Do we see anyone potentially flipping from Arkansas? Well, and someone's already asking about it. Steven, I think he's talking about Miles Rouser in chat. And so we could discuss that for a second. Rouser is, you guys know, big time pickup. I'm a big fan of Rouser, big time safety. At the moment, I don't think we know anything about him. He's not responding, I guess, to any Arkansas media. He's kind of closed down the clamps. I don't think anyone really knows what's going on with him. From what I understand, the expectation is for him to still sign. I feel like we're going to find something out here in the next 48 hours, one way or the other. Of course, on Wednesday, we'll know for sure. Wednesday morning, you're going to have to push your NLI or your letter of intent, your LOI. You're going to have to push that in at 7:00. I don't know if the university is going to publish them all. That's the other question. For these guys, like Samuel Mbake and Welch, and maybe even Rouser. I don't know. For these guys that want to do something different or surprise everybody, of course, I mean, again, Rouser's already committed, but for these guys that want to surprise everyone, do this special announcement, the question is going to be like, how does this work for them? Are you telling them that they can't send it, or they have to send in their LOIs, and then you're just going to spoil it for guys like Samuel Mbake and Welch? You're just going to spoil it for them at 7 o'clock? I don't think so. I think the odds are they probably take their LOI and not say anything and then let them do their announcement. That would be my guess. They better have their media team. Their media team better be fully aware, hey, do not mention these two names at 7 o'clock in the morning when we start. Because you know how they do that. They publish all the people, all the players, all the prospects as their LOIs come in, as they get them faxed in. They post it on, I guess, Instagram. I'm not really active on Instagram, but they post it on their on Twitter. And so, you know, that's the announcement. Like, okay, here's so-and-so's LOI. Welcome to the Razorbacks, blah, blah, blah. And they have a neat little graphic. Do they do that for these guys that I mean, you know, if that's the demand from the head coach that you have to have that in at 7:01 a.m., you're going to have to have that in, and we might spoil it for you. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to give them special treatment and just say, you know what, you guys that haven't signed anywhere, and maybe that's just for the guys that are already committed. I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. I'm sure they're fine. We're going to find out, and of course, when that individual signs, we'll talk about who the silent commit is, and you know, of course, we'll discuss. Wednesday is going to be a really fun day. Of course, by 11 o'clock, we should have everybody's LOI in. We ought to know everything we need to know outside of the two. Again, that's Mbake. Did I say Mbake again? See, it's a habit. Mbake and Welch. We won't know anything until that afternoon. And again, Centennia, Fava wideout, is not going to sign, or at least you know what he said on Twitter was he was going to sign Wednesday, and then I reached out to him in the DMs and asked him what time, and he said, I think he said 1:30. Did he ever clear that up on Twitter? Look at my DMs. What did he say? Yeah, 1:30 is what he said. What he told me. So they're in good shape. You know, the question is, what do they do with Mbake and with Welch? Do they get them both? I don't know. Who decommitted? Did he decommit just now? See, don't do that, because I don't know. I'm staring at a comments. I'm staring at the comment section here. Is he? It's all over social media. He says, "Okay, well, hang on. Well, let's just look." He's saying that Rouser. See, he's probably full of shit, but we're gonna find out. Let's just look at let's look it up on Twitter. Latest. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything on Rouser. Let's see. I mean, where I'm looking, I'm not seeing it. So, I think if you're reporting false information, I will put you in timeout, by the way. If you're giving me false information, saying Otis Kirk said it, I hope you're not giving me fake news here. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not seeing Otis Kirk saying that anywhere. All right, man. That's your warning, man. I'm not gonna. Don't give me false info. Did you see Nick's in the portal? Yeah, Nick's and Tank Bigsby are both former Auburn Tigers are in the portal. Otis Kirk hasn't said anything. Yeah. You can't send screenshots. I'm not seeing it anywhere, man. I mean, I even looked up the kid's name. Now, it wouldn't shock me if he does decommit. I'm not saying that he won't. I'm saying right now, I'm not seeing anything on him. I see John Hawes tweeting about the show. Look at you. Look at you. Miles Rouser. Let's look at his Twitter. March 28th, he's got that pinned. And then the last thing he retweeted, yeah, I'm not seeing anything on his page either. So it wouldn't shock me if he does eventually decommit. But, yeah. Now you're saying that's what you were told. Well, again, you need to definitely would look before you say something like that in chat, because now I'm like completely thrown off, bro. Way to go. So it wouldn't shock me if Miles Rouser does end up decommitting, but I don't know. Again, I've not heard anything. I'll just say at this point, I don't know where he lands. I don't know if he ends up staying with Arkansas or not. It's just really strange how he's just completely disappeared. I've heard, I've seen, I've read some of the stuff that's out there. I don't know completely what to believe. Take everything, and I mean absolutely everything you hear with a grain of salt. So back to Lamar Jackson, really quick. Again, he was a former 4-star DN. He committed to LSU out of high school for the 2021 class. He was picked for the Under Armour All-American game a year ago, was considered a top 10 edge rusher out of high school, and will attend spring camp. So that's two transfers. And as far as everyone, again, I think everyone is expected to sign on Wednesday. Everyone is expected to sign Wednesday. Doesn't mean it'll happen. You may have to wait till later in the day to get verification, because these guys are going to announce. Welch, I think, is on for 4 p.m. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's 4 p.m. Central Time for those of you who are outside the Central Time Zone. Right? Is it Central? Because he's out in Georgia. We might need to double check that. So is it actually? So what? It would be 3 p.m. here then, right? So we need to double check that. I hope you mean Landon, not Lamar. Well, what did I say? Did I say Lamar? I also clearly, yes, I'm not talking about Lamar Jackson. If I accidentally said that, Alex, come on. I want Jared Ty. He'd be a huge pickup. Danny West says he wants to come to Arkansas. There are apparently other issues involved. So I haven't. Yeah, okay. Well, man, I hope they get him. He is a huge prospect for them, a big-time 4-star. Big-time 4-star safety for them. Yeah, I know Georgia's in the Eastern time zone, but I don't know that we have a clear time. Is it 4 p.m. Eastern? So it'd be 3 p.m. here, if that's the case. So we'll just need to keep an eye on that. I would rather run into incoming traffic than to listen to Otis Kirk. You can say what you want about Otis. There's probably no one. That guy's accurate with his information. You can say what you want, but Otis provides really good information. I think he writes really good articles. So you were told, or was it all on social media? Oh, you're talking to Country Boy. Yeah, it looks like that was all fluff. I don't know if you guys spotted this or not. High schools are moving up in classifications, and I found this interesting. This was from Leland Barclay on Twitter. Class 5A, 4A, and 3A will have new champions next year, since Robinson and Shiloh Christian are moving to 5A. Harding Academy is moving to 4A, and Pulaski Academy is moving to 6A. So we've had some reclassification for some of these high schools. So that is that's interesting. We'll see. I think Farmington, I know they don't have a real big population. I think they're just hovering around 10,000. Wonder if they get another bump here in the near future. Have you guys seen Farmington's facilities? It's Fayetteville light. That's what Farmington is. People who can't afford it don't want to mess with the traffic in Fayetteville. Not that it's much better. Highway 62 is just ridiculous, and that's like the only road they have through Farmington. But of course, it's obviously much smaller land size and everything. But they're growing in population, and it has been for years. But people who don't want to deal with it's more expensive to live in Fayetteville. You've got basically everything you need in Farmington, and you're right down the road from Fayetteville. It takes you could throw a rock, you're right there, seeing as how they're adjacent to one another. That area, everyone's getting pushed out to Farmington and Prairie Grove. That's where everyone's moving to. It's like not that big a deal to hop on 62 and just drive into where you need to go in Fayetteville. So, yeah, so we got some reclassifications there. What else did we have? Speaking of people being told to hush, did you hear what Mike Leach had to say about players opting out of bowl games? I don't know if you guys caught this or not. I don't have the actual video, but I have what he wrote here. Mike Leach, or what he said, it was I have it. I copy and pasted the comments. Players opting out of bowl games is one of the biggest absurdities that I've seen. This is what he says. It's not a real long quote. You owe it to your team. You owe it to your fans. You owe it to the coaches. And it's the most bizarre thing in the world to me. Again, that's on players opting out of bowl games. Do I agree with Coach Leach here? No. Coaches leave teams before bowl games all the damn time, and nobody bats an eye except for some angry fans of said team. I mean, look what's happening at Oklahoma. Look at all the – I mean, you don't have to look far. You know, we get mad about players, but coaches do it all the time. But the amount of uproar this comment by Leach caused and people that are calling for him to apologize or even step down are out of their freaking minds. He's allowed to have an opinion that we all disagree with. If this really does bother you, I don't know. You need to go stick your head in the sand for a little while. It's just absurd to me, man. If he'd come out and flipped off the camera and said, that's what I think about players transferring, then yes, that probably triggers everybody, and rightfully so. I mean, yeah, I don't agree. I don't agree with him. But the amount of uproar, the hate, the comments below that thread, all the different outlets that reported on Mike Leach's comments were just ridiculous. You're just not allowed to have an opposing point of view anymore. And I think that needs to change. Or at least in terms of the rhetoric that's thrown back at you. Like when does it justify, like some of the things that are said, do they meet on the same level as to what is said? My response is simply what I just said. Coaches do it all the time. If I were having a conversation with Coach Leach, I would just say, Coach, they leave all the time. Talking about coaches. They leave all the time. Hell, you have coaches that leave before the end of the season. And I don't think that's right either. But I think you're wrong here. I don't agree. I mean, I see your point, and you're not wrong that, you know, I do think it's kind of cheapened the bowl games a little bit when these guys are opting out. It just kind of makes the bowl games feel a little less important. But I'm going to support, just like Burks, I'm going to support him. Like, hey, man, can't wait to watch you ball out in the NFL. Any player. You know, you're allowed to be a little like, damn it, like we talked about last week. Like, golly. But when you take it too far, and some of the comments that were said to Treylon, and it was so few, and the amount of people that got outraged at the very tiny percentage of people. It's like, you guys, you're trying to swat a fly with a nuke. Like, just chill. You're feeding a lot of them. Trolls, you're just feeding them. So, yeah, and I also have down here on the bottom, Auburn players Bo Nix and Tank Bigsby both in the transfer portal as of yesterday, along with former Fort Smith Northside defensive back and Texas A&M true freshman Drayden Norwood. He's also entered the portal. He ranked a 4-star prospect. Was it 2021? Why do I feel like it was 2020? I'm telling you, sometimes the recruiting classes, they just get kind of crunched in together. It feels like when you keep up with it for so long, you forget who was where. Yeah, that was last year. 2021 class. Don't think he's going to come to Arkansas right now. I've not heard that he has any interest playing for the Hogs. I mean, a lot could change. I don't know why you wouldn't consider Arkansas, especially if Mo Brown decides to move along. I think just like the receiver position, if they want to play him at corner at Arkansas, that's a spot you feel like someone like that could come in and have an opportunity to make the two deep like that. You got a lot of questions about what's going on at corner if you lose Mo Brown. I'm telling you, this year could go one of two ways, right? Or, well, I guess three if you think about it. But if you get guys like Poole, Mo Brown, Catalon back, I don't think you're getting Ridgeway back. Obviously, you're not getting Burks back on offense, but you've got Ricky Stromberg, Dalton Wagner on the offensive line coming back. You're going to have some questions at some other spots on the offensive line, but I'm telling you, this is when you consider all the new additions, when you look at who you got coming out of OU, Mr. Hazelwood, things are really trending in a right positive direction for Arkansas for next year. You've got a really incredibly difficult, hard, what else is new kind of schedule for the Razorbacks next year, but there's a chance you could build off this momentum and take on that schedule with fewer bumps in the road than what we all thought would end up happening. But if you lose Mo Brown and Catalon and Bumper Pool, it's not the end of the world. I don't think anyone should panic. That could happen. Belief and rumors on the streets. Again, you guys, rumors. I'm just gonna make a little graphic it's just like salt, or it's the guy that trickles the salt down his arm. I'm gonna do that, but that's more about. That's a little different, but still, take it with the grain of salt. That I feel like Bumper Pool's coming back, and at the moment it feels like you're getting both Poole and Catalon. Mo Brown, I think it's up in the air. Mo Brown, I kind of feel like, man, he's riding lightning right now. I mean, he was first team All SEC. He's probably made himself some money this year, so and it helps. He tied the league for the most picks. That's always a good thing. Yeah, Arkansas did beat A&M. That's right. Michael's got a point. Jared Collins says, "I'm old. I miss the days of a contract is a contract and your word is your word. College sports now, with the money and early outs to the NFL and NBA, have messed with the purity of sports." I hear you, but money has always been there. Money has always been on the table. Money has always been a part of football. It got bigger and bigger. I would argue it probably had its biggest surge, similar to wrestling, in the 80s. Similar to NASCAR, right? The 70s and the 80s, when television, when you started getting more and more of the sport and you had more dramatic moments that were caught on live television. Since then, it's always been about the money, baby. It's always been about TV contracts, merch, ticket sales. Guys, I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar business. And yeah, I mean, that's just the natural evolution of the sport is where we're at today. And I think it's a matter of time before the schools are forced to pay the kids and not force, I shouldn't say force, but not have NIL deals outside the university. Still have those on the table, but I think we're probably just a couple steps away from, schools having to pay the players and so on and so forth. That's the natural evolution of things. I would argue, too, NIL has helped, along with the transfer portal, has helped some of these mid-tier schools acquire talent, keep talent. So, I mean, you could sit here and argue that it's making sports worse, but I think it's if you tell me it's not attractive, I think the NIL deals, when you look at like Bobby Bones and what he did with Jalen Williams and the Arkansas offensive line getting that deal with Wright's Barbecue, like if you don't think that has an impact on recruiting for Arkansas, everyone else can do it. I get it. It should even itself out, and it probably will, but Arkansas's done a great job of getting out in front of it. You got to give credit to the local businesses, and you got to give credit to the university, helping these players understand what it is to build a brand. Everything is about brand building, whether you like it or not. I don't have a problem with it. I'm tickled pink these kids get to make some money. They get the opportunity to take part in the marketplace. Good for them. That's what this is supposed to be, right? Like, that's what all this is supposed to be. You shouldn't be able to tell a kid, nope, sorry, you can't make $1 off your name, even though you're doing what you're doing for the university. I'm all for it. It has an impact with these kids opting out early, but you can make the argument maybe the NIL deals will help keep some of these kids who are probably looking at like 4th, 5th round draft picks. Like maybe some of those NIL deals, if it's a big enough local company or whatever, local business, maybe you could reel them back home, keep them out of the out of the draft. It's better to have something on the table than nothing, right? It's better to say, here, we have an opportunity. If you stick it out, here's some cash. Here's, I don't know, Brenda's Bigger Burger no longer exists. May they rest in peace. Here's Brenda's Bigger Burger, and they're going to make you they're going to bring you in, and they're going to plaster your face and your image, and we're going to pay you for it. It's nice to have that on the table than nothing at all. If my girls, if they're in sports and in high school, I think my younger one probably will. It's weird. I think my older one is really good at sports, but she just, I don't know. It's kind of, Ellie's just not really, I don't know. Maybe I'll do sports, maybe not. She got really good at softball. She's getting better and better. But if she sticks it out, that's going to be awesome if she was given an opportunity to go to the school and then have an opportunity to make some NIL money. So I get it. The natural evolution, the next stage of college football is where we're at. And I have a feeling that eventually I don't know how soon, the next 3 or 4 years, maybe sooner, it's going to be left up to these schools to also pay players. Then you have a weapon, right? Then you have something on the table to say, well, you could go pro and be lucky to get drafted wherever, or you could stick it out another year, improve your draft stock. Oh, and you're going to make some money. It's just nice to have that. I was only mad when NCAA decided to stop making. Well, okay, so NCAA doesn't make the football games. That's EA. And NCAA never told EA to not continue making them. EA decided it's better than to face more legal troubles. Jerry Jones needs to open up that checkbook. Landon is from Texarkana. He is indeed. Kids are kids at the end of the day. Coaching making $7 million a year is wrong, and a kid being judged for leaving and staying is wrong. My bad. I'm excited about players getting long looks early with a chance to get into the league. It only helps recruiting. So the more successful, I think Burks going pro clearly it's a reflection of what this staff was able to do in a positive light. It's a reflection of what they were able to accomplish that is going to appeal to prospects. Like, look at me. I'm Sam Pittman, the old ball coach. Might as well. I know Steve Spurrier was the old ball coach. Maybe you feel like just Sam Pittman, like his attitude, like the way he is, right? Like the good old boy. Maybe that's what he is. Maybe that's the good old boy ball coach. There you go. The good old boy ball coach. And my staff and I and this offense and this team produced a first-round draft prospect which shouldn't shock anybody, out of Warren, Arkansas, because that is wide receiver or wide receiver high, I guess, in the state of Arkansas. But that's going to appeal to players. Absolutely. And then I think that was is that all of our show notes? Where are we at? I thought we had one more thing in there. Oh, basketball. So, and we'll transition to basketball here in just a second. Let me read more of your comments. Any Welch update? Yeah, so we talked about Eagle. I thought you were here, or did we? I don't know. The pest control. I'm sorry, pest control. That's my bad. I knew he was coming over. I just didn't think he was coming until later in the afternoon. I thought I talked about it. If not, on Welch, I'm so back and forth on Welch. Last week I felt pretty good. I told you guys early last week I wouldn't stream his live stream. I wouldn't stream his when he chooses, whatever school he chooses, his announcement. And then Friday I said I'm leaning towards doing that. Today I don't know. It's so back and forth. I'm starting to get the vibe that LSU might, because he went on his visit this weekend to LSU, Arkansas the week before, along with Samuel Mbake. Remember, not Mbake, but Samuel Mbake. I'm starting to get the vibe that it might end up being an LSU favor. I just don't know. This is going to go down to, and I'm trying to remember a recruit. Katron Jackson was. You guys remember the Katron Jackson? His recruiting process. He went on a virtual tour, whatever, and then I think he may have gone on a physical visit at some point. I thought, or maybe not. Maybe it was just the virtual. I don't remember. But Texas went after him hard. This is very similar in my opinion. The staff last year was able to secure, clearly, they were able to secure Katron Jackson. Do they do it again with Welch? I felt and I seem to remember going into signing day having a pretty good feeling that he was going to end up being a Hog. I don't know where I'm at with Welch. I just don't. It's so back and forth. It seems like every other 6 hours we're getting different vibes. There's different smoke, different rumors, some of it bullshit, some of it real. Well, I mean, we don't know. It's all smoke, right? We don't know if it's real. I don't know where I'm at with Welch anymore. I'm just, at this point, we're just going to have to wait until Wednesday morning. So the update really on him being that he went on his visit this weekend. It sounded like it went according to plan. LSU people are pretty excited about the visit. They feel pretty confident. A lot of people apparently on their board very confident he ends up being a Tiger, but there are people here that feel like he's still a Razorback. Now, it's early in the day. I haven't had I haven't had a chance to talk to anybody really about him in the last 24, 48 hours, but I would say that right now I would probably put him as an LSU lean, but there's still a shot here. And remember, this is dead period now, and I believe the only thing the coaches can do is text and maybe call. They cannot. There's no more going to any players' homes, vice versa. It's finals week on the university. I guess everywhere it's finals week. All of these schools handle those differently now. It's so strange. There's schools now that are letting kids completely bypass their finals if they have good grades. My nephew in Farmington's able to do that, and I'm like, you go, man. That's awesome. So with it being a pivotal week, I don't know. I'll say this much. On the silent commit, as of today, I'll tell you who he is after it happens. I'll probably address it first in our Discord. If you're not in our Discord, you need to be there. Let me share you the link. You're going to want to be there. Wednesday morning is going to be crazy. I'm going to set my alarm Wednesday morning. I might set it for like 6 a.m. I try to get up on Wednesdays at like, before 7, but you got to take the kids to school and everything. Hang on. Here's the link to our Discord. You might want to get in on it. So there it is. If you guys want to join Wednesday morning, I'm going to do my best to try and keep up with it. It may be a pretty undramatic morning because we may not know anything about certain players until later in the day. But we're going to try our best to keep up with it all. Again, players have to have their LOIs in at 7:01. Now, whether or not the university publishes those or not, I don't know. Because they do on social media. They do the thing where they post all the players when they get the facts in. I'm not sure they do that this Saturday or not, or Wednesday morning or not. Slap the like button until you get a Ric Flair. Woo! That's right, man. Hit the like button. Come on. He also posted pictures of him with Pittman. Who's that? Michael says Welch is 75-25 now at LSU. Yeah, I'm starting to feel the vibe he picks LSU. But that could change tomorrow. That could change as soon as we're done here. You guys know how this goes. As soon as the show's over, you get breaking news. The more the day goes on, the more starting quarterbacks into the transfer portal. Yeah, there's quite a few. Ty, do you know what time Pittman is going to have his early NIL press conference? I don't. I have no idea at the moment. I tell you what, I will make a memo of that somewhere and I will reach out and find out and I'll let you guys know in Discord. Sam Pittman's announcement time, ? There we go. I've got it written down for you. So I'll let you guys know in our Discord when that goes down. Ty won't accept my invite. Uh-oh. Did you get banned from our... let me look. Hang on. Let me look. I'm not sure. Let me look. Doesn't look like there's any... Let's try that again. See what that says. What does this link say? Do that. Try that. See if that does anything for you. Well, Ty, if we don't get that cornerback from LSU, it's plenty other options in the portal. Yeah, well, if you're talking about Welch, I think Welch is that caliber of talent when you consider, again, depending on who leaves and who comes back in the secondary. I feel like he's someone who probably competes pretty early in the two deep. Now, there's still a lot of question marks we just don't know about. So, Country Boy says Welch is going to LSU pretty solid. I don't know what to believe anymore from you, Country Boy. After all, you were telling us Miles Rouser's info about not coming to Arkansas was all over Twitter, so I don't know what to believe from you, sir. Calzada just entered the portal. Oh boy. Tunka again, Todd. I'll get that NIL press conference for you. I'll get the you're in our Discord, so I'll post that in our Discord. Ty gives me a whoops won't accept. I don't know, man. I don't know why it's not accepting. Anybody else trying and having that problem? The only way it doesn't let you in is if you've been banned from our Discord, and that's the only way I know of. The Arkansas Razorback football Twitter does announce who signed. Right, they do. Yes, that's what I was saying. They do. We talked about that earlier, Alex. Talking about the guys later who they don't want it out there yet where they're going. Guys like Samuel Mbake and, of course, Welch. I don't think either one of them are announcing until after. I know for a fact neither one of them are announcing until after 7 o'clock. So do they publish? That's what I was saying earlier. Does the U of A publish their announcements at 7:01? Because that's when Sam Pittman apparently told the players, all the prospects that plan on signing at Arkansas, it was told to them, Wednesday morning, have your LOI in at 7:01 a.m. Now, I don't know if that was a strong recommendation on his part or if he was just telling them, if you don't have it in, we're not going to keep the offer. And I doubt he's going to do that. But are you sure Country Boy isn't catfishing you? I don't know. RD Miller, you have any idea how many people I deal with here, either in live or DMs or whatever? What position is the silent commit? I definitely cannot say that. I will tell you, the only thing I'll say is he's got a certain amount of stars. That's the only thing I'll say right there. Country Boy is a Shorthorn fan trolling. So, really quick, let's finish this off, and I hate to do this because it's going to be a negative thing. Really quick, talking about our PTN Pig Trail Network Capital One Bowl Mania game, Bowl Pick'ems, whatever you want to call it. If you guys aren't in there, you need to get in there. Let me paste. Boom. If you guys want to get in on that, hopefully that works. I don't know who was trying to get in earlier and they couldn't. Gerard Collins, did it work for you? I'm not seeing anybody new joining Discord, so it must not have worked. I don't know. Hit me up on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, I'll send you another link, see if I can make it work. Michael Kopesky, don't scare us with that. What did he say now? KJ just hit the portal. Yeah, okay. So, really fast, we have a new top 25. I'm going to pull that up. Did they release that? Did they release their AP top 25? I'll look at that in a second. Basketball, really quick. So Arkansas gets just absolutely embarrassed in Tulsa to Oklahoma, losing 88-66. I played you guys the video. I think Musselman said everything that I said in my postgame. They're going to have to do, and if I missed anything, of course, he talked about a new rotation and figuring out what they're going to do on the floor. I'm going to say this. I have never bought into the shoot or shoot comment. I've never bought into that saying. I've never bought into it. Because that's exactly why 88-66 happened. It's because you had guys taking shit shots. They just were. Let's call it what it is. They were taking horrible shots, difficult looks outside, and they did end up finishing 7 of 24. It's their best, one of their better outside shooting games of the year, but you still shot sub 30% on 24 attempts. And JD Note ends up going 2 of 7. Those aren't great numbers. Devo was 4 of 8, and a lot. And look, when you're shooting like that, when you're shooting 50% outside, you don't mind him taking a couple extra shots outside. Devo's the only reason why this game was a game at all. He had 26 points. They're going to have to do something with Note. I hope we see more Jackson Robinson or some. They've got to figure out what they're doing with Note. And Musselman clearly not thrilled with what he's seeing. Remember, it wasn't that long ago, 2 weeks ago, when Musselman said, this is a difficult team to coach. And I love what Note can do for this team. Same with Likes. He talked about Likes and how he's a liability trying to defend, out on the perimeter. He struggles. Guys make shots over him all the time. And Note did not play well outside. This is his first, I would argue that was his worst outside perimeter from a defensive standpoint, one of his worst games. Well, both ways, right? At least he made threes in this one. He made 2. He got you 6 points outside, but 2 of 7. He does end up with 13. He had you 3 assists, but you had 10 total assists, 14 turnovers. It was just, there's so much work. The good news is they have all week to get it fixed. I love the way Musselman, last year if I remember right, took a couple of really embarrassing losses, and they got it figured out. There's no need to panic. There's no need to pull our hair out and give ourselves ulcers. Although I've come close, I'm sure, several times if I don't already have one. And when I do, I'm going to blame Arkansas basketball. Especially this year. They're so – you see it. You see it happening before your eyes, the very thing that Musselman complains about constantly. The Likes and Note will win you as many games as they lose you. They're going to have to figure out this rotation and their set 5. They came out in the second half with a different group. Maybe they do something different. Remember, they cut that lead down from 15 down to 3 in the second half, midway through the second half. And he did that by experimenting just a little bit, right, during that little run. No more of these soft starts, man. You just cannot do it. You let these opposing teams, you shot, 32%, which is honestly pretty good. That's a pretty good team. When you're shooting north of 31, 32%, that's pretty good. But what'd they end up doing? They ended up shooting almost 60%. They almost doubled their percentage outside. They end up going 13 of 22. That is horrible. And they were I would argue at least half of them were wide open looks. I will complain about this until they get it fixed. And you'll hear me. I'll change my tune just like I did with special teams. I changed my tune. Fountain got it figured out, man. Now I get it. And I've always known the guy's a solid recruiter. Clearly Little was a great addition, maybe the best new addition between him and Raheem Sanders. I would argue Little. Was the best new addition last year. Warren Thompson sprinkled in a little bit there, Obviously Ridgeway, Trey Williams early on in the year. Ridgeway second half of the season, phenomenal. I mean, Ridgeway absorbing the double block, the double team blocks. He was a nightmare to deal with. Mano up against the center, playing the nose tackle, lining up right across from the center. You had some great new additions, right, on with the football program and everything they were able to do. I changed my tune when things changed. That included Ridgeway. That included Trey Williams. I ended up going south with, right, going negative because he went from being great to, oh my God, we have a true edge rusher to where the hell did he go? Ridgeway started off, he's good. He has moments, but we're not seeing enough of it, and he's not playing complete games. Change my tune as the second half of the season. I will change my tune once they figure out how to defend and get better outside or take fewer shots because you're not an outside team. Change these things. I'll change my tune. Until they do, I'm going to continue to gripe and bitch and moan about it. You bet your rear end I will. Get better at these things. Selfish ball, there's not very many teams in college basketball where, you have to rely on just one guy. And that's the way they play. Note is clearly not aware of what's going on outside. He's not shooting well outside. The last 3 games combined, I mean, he's shooting 25% or something, 25%. And he's taking a lot of shots. Musselman says that's been addressed. He's just not doing it on the floor. It's not going to surprise me if next Saturday Note's having to come off the bench. It wouldn't shock me. I don't see it happening because we haven't seen it yet. And I like what he said about Connor. He said Connor didn't do anything wrong to get put on the bench. Just the pace of the game. We've talked about that since since last year. As soon as the pace speeds up, Connor's done. That's it. Or if he takes a couple of nasty looking threes and he misses them, he's out. Like Muss pulls him out. I think he needs to have the same temperament with Note. The same temperament he has with Connor, he needs to have that with both Likes and Note. Last year, Note was better coming off the bench, hands down. Maybe that's what we need to do. Get him off the starting five and instead have him set, I don't know, maybe it's a situation where the first chance you get to make a move, a change, you do it, or you keep him on there for an extended period of time until maybe 7 or 8 minutes, and then you put him on the floor. The problem is we're not seeing him experiment with anybody else getting significant amount of time with these other guards. We're not seeing more Jackson Robinson. We're clearly not seeing more KK. We're not seeing more different faces outside getting an extended period of time on the floor, and I don't know why that is. I don't think it's because they're not good players. I think he settled in with his seven or 8 man rotation, and he maybe just feels that much more comfortable about him. Also, there's the possibility he's talked about. If you have a bad week of practice, you're losing minutes. He's talked about that. If you have a good week of practice, you're going to gain minutes. Maybe that's what's going on. But I feel like you have the depth. I think they have quality depth at guard. Clearly, the point guard is still a problem. I don't know that they get that solved this year. I don't know. Devo has not shown me he's a point guard. No one has shown me. They've shown they don't have a point guard. So, yeah. It's up in the air, I think, with where they're headed on the season. I'm going to make my pick after Elon, excuse me. After the Elon fighting Teslas on December 21st, probably that following, when is the 21st? That's a Saturday, right? Or no, it's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. All right, so probably that following Wednesday, the 22nd. Now, shows are going to change up for the holidays. I might be streaming less. I don't know if I'm going to do the Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the week of the 25th, which would be that 20th through the 24th. I say that, as soon as there's a big announcement, if there's any big announcements, I'll go live, but I'm not sure. So stand by for that. I'll give you guys, a heads up, probably in Discord, for sure. In Discord, I'll give you guys a heads up what that looks like. But yeah, so I will have my pick for where I think Arkansas, what they do in conference play. Hell, I might even just go straight down the schedule and say win, win, loss, loss, win, win, and then maybe tell you where I think they go, if I think they go to the tournament. Don't forget, they still have the SEC Big 12 Challenge. They're going to go up against West Virginia on the 29th. That's in Bud Walton Arena. So that's going to be your January 29th, 1 p.m. So, and that one right now looks like it's going to be on ESPN, maybe ESPN2. I'm not sure. It says ESPN/2. So I'm assuming it's one or the other. So, all right. If you guys have any questions, Ty, what up with KK Robinson? He doesn't get that many minutes. I don't know. I don't know if he's fighting a nagging injury. I don't know what's up with KK. He's been the biggest surprise to me in terms of lack of production or lack of minutes. I was probably as stoked about him as I was Moses Moody when he committed. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Sometimes guys just get on campus and they don't, they're just not as, I don't know. Calzada is in the portal. Yeah, we saw that. We talked about that. Any update on Catalan coming back? Patrick Wendell, we don't know anything yet. The breeze and the wind today says that it feels like, no one's saying anything, it feels like there's an opportunity comes back, but we also thought Burks was playing in the bowl game, so you just never know until they say something. We didn't attack the rim against OU. Boy, they were bad, and that was OU game planning, and you got to give them credit. They took away inside ball. For Arkansas, forced them for more mid-range shots and outside looks. It's going to be nice when they find someone who can knock down more mid-range. I feel like Devo's that guy, and I thought KK would be that guy. I guess Riley didn't like – oh, yeah. Slovis is – so he's in the portal? Did that just happen? He's in the portal? Slovis is? Damn. Arkansas can't hit open threes. They need to get down in the paint. That's what I'm with you, Scott. I agree, man. When do players have to declare for the NFL draft? That's also a good question. I don't know. I think it's after bowl season, so I want to say it's sometime in January. You know what? Let's Google that really quick. Why not? When do players have to – oh, there it is. It's the first thing that pops up. Declare for the NFL draft. So, January 17th. Yeah, I thought it was in January. January 17th. So shortly after, a little bit after playoffs, when the championship. So they have underclassmen have until January 17th to file declaration papers with the league with a 72-hour period to reconsider after filing. So, yeah, there you go. Ask and you shall receive. How about that? Can we get Jimmy Witt back? I'm telling you, man, they need Jimmy Witt. One of the best mid-range jump shots. And even if it looked ugly, it was going in, man. That guy, he was fun to watch. Slovis is in the portal. I'll be damned. I didn't see that happening. Wonder what that means. I bet Riley told Slavis more you guys coming. It might be. Huh. Oh, well, all right. I mean, that guy, he's pretty impressive. I liked him. He just doesn't want to play in that offense. I don't know. Okay, we're at almost an hour and a half. This is going to go down as one of the longest live streams. I do appreciate you guys, Patreon supporters, live chat folks, all you guys, people watching after the fact. Keep your ears to the ground. There's going to be a lot of smoke over the next 48 hours. We don't know what we don't know. Again, obviously, I feel good about Centennia. I feel good about a couple of guys. Rouser, I don't know just yet. There's belief that he's not going to sign anywhere. I've heard that he's a lock for Arkansas. I've heard that he's going to one of the Michigan schools, but then I've also heard there's a lot of other outside stuff going on. We don't know. Whatever happens, we wish him the best. We support him, and hopefully Arkansas can absorb that. That would be a pretty big loss to your class calculator for those of you who keep up with that sort of thing. That definitely keeps you out of the top 15 when the dust settles. But maybe you flip, maybe you get Welch, and that kind of, in terms of recruiting rank, that helps you out. I didn't think that name was Hogg. Well, Slavis is USC, if that's what you're talking about. We need Rouser bad for real. Yeah, again, I'll address the rumors. If I know anything about them, I'll tell you, but I'll always address them. We could talk about them. I feel like this is a place to do that, and that's what our Discord's for, too. I hope, Gerard, you never told me if you got in or not. Were you able to make it into our Discord? That's really bizarre. That wouldn't let you in. Oh, no, he's in. He's in. There he is. All right. And we added a rubber band man. We added a couple of people. All right, so yeah, if you guys want to join our Discord, also that link is down below in the description box. Mbake, M is not the only thing that's silent, right? All right, I will see you guys Wednesday. If there's any breaking news, clearly I'll cover it. I don't know if I'm going to stream Welch's announcement. Because I just have no idea where this kid's going. Again, sounds like he had a pretty solid visit over the weekend. If anything changes, again, I will let you guys know. I typically will tell you guys in Discord, but I usually will I'll probably wait till later on Wednesday to make a decision. But I want to stream. I'm definitely going to stream Saturday or Wednesday. We're going to do our 11 a.m., our regular thing here. And then go from there, right? We'll see where we're at. We'll see what announcements have been made and so on and so forth. So, yeah. I have some ideas, some things I'm kind of rolling around in the noggin a little bit for Wednesday. But yeah, all right. Well, I will see you guys one way or another. I'll see you on Wednesday. Have a good enjoy your week. If you're anxious about what's going on with recruiting, don't be, man. Just relax. If it's later in the day, crack open a cold beer and just whatever happens. Just know that we're all hogs, and I regardless of what happens, I'm feeling really good about the future and the direction of this football program. I'm telling you, everything's trending in a positive direction. So I'll see you guys at Wednesday for sure at 11 o'clock. Again, if anything changes, I'll try to let you know in Discord. Woo Pig, I'll see you then.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about the reffing or, you guys got